Hello, sleepy soul. Welcome to Midnight Talks. I'm your storyteller tonight, your host in the dark. If you enjoy the tales I whisper, don't forget to subscribe so I don't get lost in this endless crowd. Now, let's begin our story. Four people heard singing coming from inside their closets. They opened the doors. The singing stopped, but the footprints stayed, not leading out, leading in. Tonight, I'm telling you what really happened and why. Their closets were never empty. The town that refused to sing the town was called Hollow Creek. It looked perfect. Bright lights, fake snow, plastic smiles, but it was silent. No children singing, no carols, no church bells, just a heavy watching quiet. Four friends arrived for Christmas: Arav, Mira, Kunal, Shah. They asked a shopkeeper why the town was so quiet. His hands trembled, and he whispered, "Because if you sing after midnight, something sings back." The dare at the burned church. That night they found the old church, burned wood, blackened walls, frozen steps. At exactly midnight, Arav laughed. Ghost stories are for children. And they began to sing softly, "Silent night, holy night." At first, nothing. Then, the church bell rang, but there was no bell. Their breath thickened in the air. The snow stopped falling. The wind stopped breathing. The silence felt alive. The voice that was never human. Halfway through the second verse, a fifth voice joined them. Low, wet, close, not in front of them, behind them. They stopped singing, but the voice didn't. The sound moved closer. Footprints began to appear in the snow. Not walking away, walking toward them. The air turned icy, and something whispered into all four ears. "You invited us." Cliffhanger ending. That night, they were back in their rooms, alone, trying to sleep, trying to breathe. Then they heard it. Soft singing from inside their closets, a familiar melody, silent night, and the closet doors began to open by themselves. Soft, slow voice. They thought closing their closet doors ended it. They were wrong, because something had already stepped out, and something else had stepped in. The night doesn't end after that first night. None of them slept. Arav heard scratching inside his walls. Mira heard humming coming from under her bed. Kunal's reflection smiled at him before he did. Sia's closet started leaking water. Black, cold water. It smelled like rotten wood and old graves. Ice cube. The first visitation. Arav. At 3:33 a.m., Arav woke up. His closet door was half open. He remembered shutting it. The inside was too dark, darker than darkness should be. Then, he heard breathing from inside, slow, wet, not human. A soft whisper came out. "Finish the song." Arav slammed the door shut, but the whisper stayed inside his head. Mira's discovery. Mira woke to find frost on her mirror, words slowly forming. "You invited us." Her mouth started humming by itself. She wasn't trying to sing. Her throat just moved. Her reflection didn't match her movements. When she smiled in fear, the reflection smiled wider, like it was enjoying it. Kunal's shadow. Kunal noticed his shadow wasn't attached to him anymore. It moved a second late. Then, a second early. It started pointing at things. At his closet, at the wall, at the floor, and once, it pointed at his own throat. Sia's secret. She opened her closet. Inside she found bare footprints on the ceiling, leading across the walls, and a small speaker, old, broken, but blinking red. She touched it, and it turned on. The carol began playing, slow, distorted, wrong, and a voice whispered, "Come to the church." Cliffhanger ending. At the exact same time, all four friends felt it. A pull, a calling, towards the forest, towards the burned church. They grabbed their phones, put on coats, stepped into the snow, and saw something waiting for them. Between the trees, tall, thin, smiling, and singing. Cold, whispering voice. The church wasn't abandoned. It was waiting, and it already knew their names. Walking into the trees, the snowstorm had started, wind howling like screams. The forest swallowed all sound except their footsteps. They didn't talk. They didn't need to. They all felt it, something pulling them forward. Between the trees, they saw it, a tall, broken structure, the burned church. But the door was open. They hadn't touched it. Inside the church, ruins. The air inside was wrong. Not cold, not warm, dead. Every step echoed too long. The floorboards were soft, not rotted, soft, like they were stepping on something breathing. She noticed something in the snow-covered floor. Footprints, bare, more than four, circling them, but leading nowhere. The discovery behind the broken altar. They found a trap door, old, wooden, covered in frost, and warm to the touch. They opened it. The smell hit them first. Rotten wood, mold, something sweet, the kind of sweet smell death carries. The stairs down the stairs were long, longer than the building should allow. Their phone flashlights flickered, and in the light they saw handprints on the walls, child-sized, scratched into the wood, all facing downward, as if whatever made them didn't want to go back up. The underground choir room at the bottom, they found it, a frozen underground hall, candles still burning, wax dripping upward, choir robes hanging from hooks, all facing the wall, but gently, moving, as if someone invisible was wearing them. In the center, a stone circle, footprints, bare, fresh. They weren't alone. A soft sound began, breathing, not theirs. From the dark, a whisper. Sit. One by one, without understanding why, they sat inside the circle. Candles blew out. Darkness swallowed everything. Then, singing. Not loud, not soft. Right next to their ears. Cold breath touching their skin. Hands brushing their shoulders. Dead hands. Cliffhanger ending a match lit. One candle flame returned, and in that flicker of light, they saw them. People, standing all around the circle, barefoot, frozen, smiling, with empty eye sockets, and they began to sing their names. Very slow, hollow voice. The dead didn't want their bodies back. They wanted their voices. Trapped in the circle. The four friends tried to stand. Their legs wouldn't move. Their mouths opened by themselves. Sound came out, but it wasn't their voice. It was older, colder, like ice breaking underwater. The spirits stood around them, bare feet on stone, frozen fingers pointing, and they whispered, "Your turn." The rules on the wall. The wall behind the altar lit up. Words written in frost appeared. Every Christmas the carol must be sung by living lungs. If the song stops, we return through you. And then, 4 voices are required. What happened to the original choir? The floor cracked, and the stone beneath them turned clear, like glass. Below were bodies, frozen, twisted, mouths open mid-song, eyes wide, still singing silently. They realized the truth. The original church choir hadn't died. They had been trapped, waiting for new voices, new throats, new air. The transfer. The spirits stepped closer. Cold hands touched their faces, foreheads, throats, and something moved. From the dead into the living. Mira began to cry, but her tears froze instantly. Kunal screamed, but another voice screamed through him. Arav started laughing, But it wasn't his laugh anymore. Shia's eyes turned completely black. Escape or release. The church shook. Candles burst into frost. The walls cracked. A door opened at the far end. A tunnel leading out. A whisper filled the room. Go home. You are not guests anymore. You are doors. Soft, broken whisper. They went home, but something else went home with them, and it was still hungry. Back in Hollow Creek, the storm ended. The roads opened. Life returned. Lights came back. People walked the streets, but something had changed. The town felt warmer, not safer, warmer, like breath, like something alive. The four friends smiled more. Too much. They walked differently, like they were sharing their bodies. The reflections tell the truth. Mirrors started showing things they weren't doing. Arav's reflection blinked sideways. Mira's reflection sang silently. Kunal's reflection scratched words on the glass. Open the door. Shia's reflection pressed its palms to the mirror from the inside. Christmas night returns 1 year later. Same town, same snow, same date, same time, 12:01 a.m. The four of them stood at their front doors, together. But this time, they weren't afraid, because they weren't fully human anymore. They began to sing, not Silent Night, but a new song, a slow, broken carol, a summoning. The four knocks across the town. 4 new houses heard knocking. 4 new doors opened. 4 new people looked out. And just like before, they saw only a black bag. Inside, a small speaker and a note. You finished the song. Now come to the church. The final image. The camera of this story pulls back. Above Hollow Creek, above the forest, above the burned church, we hear voices, children's voices, adult voices, old voices, singing together, wrongly, softly, forever. Final lines, perfect video ending. And if you ever hear Christmas singing, after midnight, don't sing, don't open the door, and never open your closet, because next Christmas, they might be singing your name.